Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of SpongeBob Now. Today, I will be talking about pressure and the smoking peanut. First, I'm going to talk about pressure. Enjoy. Sandy and SpongeBob are peacefully watching the clouds. While they relax, they discuss hypothetically climbing the nearby coral cliff, until they each casually mention that they would obviously win anyway, due to their respective land and sea-based abilities. They decide to have a race and Sandy takes a head start. Despite his efforts to catch up, SpongeBob loses. He challenges Sandy to another race to the Krusty Krab, taking the same head start as Sandy and winning. Upset at SpongeBob's victory, Sandy boasts of the superiority of land creatures to sea creatures, listing the many skills and abilities that she claims sea creatures lack. SpongeBob, joined by Patrick, Squidward and Mr. Krabs, point out things that Sandy cannot do, such as breathing underwater. She then decides to tear off her suit and shatter her helmet to prove it, but the strain proves too much, forcing her to use a pickle jar as a makeshift air helmet. To settle the issue, Sandy challenges the group to the reverse, going up on dry land for 1 minute, which they declare an easy feat, but when reaching the shore of the local island, they lose confidence. Unwilling to let her win, they resolve to charge up to the surface and end up finding the land enjoyable. They even take the time to chat up a pair of native seagulls. After the minute passes, Sandy lets go of her pride and heads up to congratulate the group, but, to her horror, finds them being chased and mauled by the seagulls and attacks the birds to save them. Back on the ocean floor, the two sides come to the realization that everyone, sea and land creature alike, is good at something, even if no one is good at everything. SpongeBob and Sandy apologize to each other, SpongeBob for making Sandy a laughingstock, and Sandy for daring the others into going onto dry land, and the group gives a cheer in honor of feeling sorry for themselves. Meanwhile, the now defeated and plucked seagulls, in a sorry state of their own, half-heartedly join in the cheer. Next, I'm going to talk about the smoking peanut. Enjoy. It is the annual, free day, at the Bikini Bottom Zoo, and Mr. Krabs helps himself to anything he can get his claws on. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick go to Oyster Stadium to see Clamu the giant oyster perform tricks. Unfortunately, as they enter the arena, they find Clamu is sleeping. Patrick prepares to leave, but SpongeBob tries to wake Clamu up by throwing a peanut at her, followed by her wailing loudly. SpongeBob calls Patrick back in anticipation of the show, only for Clamu to cause mayhem and thrash around and attack the zookeepers, crying inconsolably all the while. After being questioned by one of the zoo attendants, SpongeBob and Patrick leave the park. SpongeBob feels very guilty and thinks that he caused the incident. Patrick decides to investigate the crime, determined to discover the culprit of Clamu's distress. At home, SpongeBob laments what he's done, but tells himself that the incident will soon blow over. But when he turns on the TV, the oyster incident is the top news story. The realistic fish head reports that Clamu's sobs are so powerful that they can be heard all around the world, even above the surface. With his guilt growing, SpongeBob goes to Squidward and Sandy for advice, but just like Patrick, both are concerned with finding and punishing the culprit. To make matters worse, Patrick reveals that he found an incriminating bag of peanuts left near SpongeBob's home, stating that he is getting close to solving the mystery. Eventually, policemen enter SpongeBob's house and question him on the incident. SpongeBob admits to everything they ask him, but instead of arresting him, they conclude from their evidence that Patrick is falsely the culprit, and drive away with him. SpongeBob is shocked at what has happened to his friend, and dashes after the car. Patrick is taken to Oyster Stadium, where he is chained to a platform in the middle of Clamu's enclosure and vengefully pelted with peanuts by the angry audience for his supposed crime. Unwilling to let Patrick take the blame, SpongeBob arrives at the stadium and asks everyone to stop. He finally confesses to having thrown the peanut, apologizing to Clamu, Patrick, and the people of Bikini Bottom. The fish in the audience, upon hearing this confession, refuse to accept his apology, somehow concluding that he is merely Patrick's accomplice. They decide to throw peanuts at both of them, but before they can, a zookeeper, possibly the one from earlier in the episode, stops them, announcing that he has captured the real culprit, Mr. Krabs, much to SpongeBob, Patrick, and everyone's shock. The zookeeper also reveals that the true cause of Clamu's distress was not the thrown peanut, but that Mr. Krabs stole her pearl while she was asleep from last night. The peanut only made her wake up and notice that her pearl was nowhere to be seen. The zookeeper returns the pearl to Clamu. To everyone's surprise, the pearl turns out to be an egg, hatching into a baby oyster. Having been reunited with her offspring, Clamu is finally happy again. With the truth of the case finally revealed, SpongeBob and Patrick's names are cleared. The crowd is moved by the touching scene before angrily glaring at Mr. Krabs for stealing Clamu's offspring and his greedy actions. Rather than admitting what he did was wrong, Mr. Krabs makes a pathetic excuse that it is free day and he's promptly buried in a pile of peanuts the audience throws at him, much to his discomfort. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Goodbye everyone.